asking people how they're doing and start asking people how they're feeling.
So I gotta make sure I'm watching the news.
I will never waste pain that's offered to me. Nothing is ever wasted.
Everybody that I gotta play the week gon' be straight. And that we tie that real that you won't hear, so you better not be late.
This is a place of development, and I'm not gonna die here.
Dang.
Cause I love it, I don't care about the fame.
Yo, welcome to the Young Vagabond podcast, where we navigate the journey of life together through truth and love. I'm your co-host, Bryson.
And I'm your co-host, DJ.
And this is season 5, episode 2. We trying to make sure you're not in the blues because it's Valentine's Day, boo-boo.
I'm so dead. Yes, that's good. It's Valentine's Day. Hey, man, happy early Valentine's Day to all the single brothers and single sisters, all the booed up brothers and booed up sisters, and to all the married folks, man. Happy Valentine's to all of y'all, man.
Yep.
Hope y'all doing well. Hope God's blessing y'all's relationship or your singleness, whatever one it is for you, man. And yeah, bro. Happy for all y'all, bro. We're doing good here, bro, on the vagabond front, man. So yeah, we're gonna get into love, getting into relationships. You know, just do a little check up, man. Some things didn't change, man, since the last podcast episode, bro.
Yeah.
Hopefully they stay rocking good, bro. That's what I'm hoping, bro.
A lot has changed since the last time we talked about this.
I know, bro. But
A lot.
We just go ahead and drop it for you, bro. I am now in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't gonna divulge too many details on that because it's fresh, you know. But you know, Lord willing, bro, this one makes it. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? We here, bro. But we gonna get into this a little bit. But of course, before we get started, I gotta always remind y'all. Please, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on one of the platforms, to follow. If you're watching it on YouTube, to hit the subscribe button, hit that like, bro, that follow, whatever, comment, do all those things. Engage, man. We really appreciate when y'all engage on the post, man, because that really helps us succeed and get this content out to more people. And that's, of course, what we're hoping for, that more people can be touched by what the Lord speaks through us. So, of course, man, please share. Of course, if you want, you can support us. Shout out to all the give-a-bonds, the donate-a-bonds on the Cashapp and the PayPal, man. And thank you for everyone who's already subscribed and followed. If you're like, DJ, I'm already there, man. We appreciate you, man. That y'all help us get this content out to a lot of people. Y'all keep us encouraged, all those things. So we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Of course, man, if you touched by something, feel free to share it. You can share the whole video, or you can go on the Instagram, which is in the link tree, or the TikTok, which I think TikTok's back now. So go on the TikTok, man, and send a little short clip to somebody. Make sure you followed on that, man. But we appreciate all of y'all. Also, we got a sponsor.
Yes, we do. So since it is Valentine's time, all right, Great American Cookie Store has decided to unofficially sponsor us. If you go buy some cookies and check out with the code, your credit card number, it will go through and you will get the purchase. So
shout out, bro.
Make sure you mention your number on the back of your card. I'm in front of your card. You'll be good to go.
And then send us an email with that info. No, I'm just playing. But nah, man. Shout out to Great American Cookie. I don't think I've ever been there, but shout out to them.
High key. I think it's better than Insomnia.
Bro, really? Okay. Insomnia is expensive, so honestly, it may be just from price point alone.
Yeah.
Is it cheaper or no?
I think it's close to the same amount.
Okay.
Close.
But is it bigger portions?
Just better cookies, bro.
Okay, just better quality.
It may be subjective.
Okay.
But also, like, Great American Cookies does have to buy 5, get 1 free.
Yeah.
Insomnia ain't moving like that, bro.
They ain't moving like that,
bro. No disrespect to Insomnia.
No, all disrespect to Insomnia. We rock with Great American Cookie over here. GAAC gang. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had crumble cookie?
I have, but it's like once, so I can't really put my stake in the mud.
Cookies are like cake. They're also really expensive.
Yeah.
They're also like, I think 1,000 some calories, bro.
For one cookie?
Yeah, one cookie. Which I don't think you're really supposed to eat a whole cookie in one sitting. That's kind of crazy if you do that. Like,
it's not crazy. Why you laughing, bro? More cookies, more protein.
Okay, you know what? Yeah. No, as long as you're working it off.
No.
And not having a huge calorie surplus.
More cookies, more protein.
I don't think that's how it works, Bryson. I don't think there's protein in the cookies. It's carbohydrates. A lot of carbohydrates, which you need. You need those. Okay. All right. So anyways, yeah, man, we got Great American Cookies. Shout out to them. Shout out to Crumble. Shout out to Insomnia. We more cookie, more protein. But anyways, yeah, bro, we here to get started. Shout out to Cookies Everywhere. And shout out to Black people. It's Black History Month, too,
Indeed,
bro.
it is.
Shout out to Black History Month, man.
All the trailblazers.
All the trailblazers, all the people that allow us to even be at this university recording this podcast right now. Shout out to Richard Holmes.
Yeah, Dr. Richard Holmes.
Yes, for registering, being a trailblazer so that we could all be here today.
Facts.
But anyways, we are here, man. Excited to get started. Talk about relationships of all kinds, whether it be romantic, friendship. Give y'all some principles, give y'all some game. But before we do that, you know how it goes. Favorite conversation of the week. Hit me, Bryson. What was it?
So, I'm going to throw it back at you because it just slipped my mind.
Okay. Pass the rock back. I'll go for it. This week, I got to talk with, shout out, three of my, because Bryson was there.
Yes, sir.
3 of my coworkers. We just sitting there chopping it up, having a conversation about faith and why we believe what we believe. And it was a very good conversation, challenging, right? Because there's not a lot of times you get asked why you think the way you think. It's in a genuine way, right? And it's not like an angry way. Mm-hmm. And so when it's a genuine way, man, you really got to come with it, bro. Like, why do you think the way you think? And so anyways, that was just a good conversation, and it was full of people with open minds.
Yeah.
Just kind of hear the perspective of other people and learn a different perspective. But I think it's really important, whether it's in conversation with other people or just in your own personal reflection, to reflect on why you think the way you think, right? Because, like, are you thinking the way you think just because you were told to think that way? Or is your beliefs actually based out of, man, experience and logical deduction to say, like, okay, I know that I believe this because of my own personal reasons. And I think that's really important. You know what I'm saying? And of course, like, your family or your culture can be a reason why you may hold, like, a particular belief. But, like, if that's that's the only thing holding you to it. I think it was funny. Somebody one time said tradition is just like pure pressure from dead people, which I thought was funny. But of course, traditions are way deeper than that, because traditions help keep you to people who have gone past you. But if the only reason I believe this because my mom, this is what or I'm only a Christian because my mom was a Christian, my whole family's Christian, or whatever your thing is, bro. Like, if that's the only thing that's keeping it to you, man, when something comes or a situation happens that may challenge that belief, you'll fold like that, right? And you can end up kind of being a person who is just tossed in turns by different doctrines. The Bible kind of talks about that. Yeah. And so you want to be someone who, man, is like, I know that I believe this, not in a staunch, unable to be, like closed-minded way, but like in a, even I can be confident enough to have conversations with people who disagree with me because I've done some of the own work to understand what I believe and why did I believe it. So I just think that was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So yeah, that's mine. Passing the rock back to you.
I got 2, but I'll save one because I think it'll probably come up since we're talking about relationships today. Yeah. But I was able to sit down with my guy Ramiro.
Shout out to Ramiro.
Yeah, man, he's getting ready to do some big things. With shout out to the military. We love you guys for protecting.
Shout out to the troops.
Yes, sir. Risking their lives, man.
God bless them.
Yes, sir. But I was able to talk to him. He came down to visit for the weekend, and we were just able to talk about, like, biblical manhood and just like how we want to be as men. And something that I learned from a podcast that we kind of delved into that is like defining personal success. A lot of times we make success like this broad topic of this is what success looks like. But something me and him kind of fleshed on was like success is supposed to be personal. Like, you know, just what are things in your life that when you accomplish these, you'll know that you've been successful. I know like one thing for me is, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, my wife looks at me and says like, that's my guy. You know, like that's success to me. You know, and I once heard on a podcast with a KB, the Christian rapper. He said someone defines success as when the people who I think either love me or know me the most respect me the most. And I kind of like, I rock with that, you know? So that's kind of what we talked about, just manhood and success. It was a good convo. Right. Always good convo with Ramiro, man. Shout out Ramiro.
Shout out to him, bro. That is good, though. Amen. No, manhood is, I think, important. Because, I mean, especially, like, when it comes to the part of, like, relationships, we're both men. So we can only speak to the male perspective.
Yeah.
And how we navigate through relationships. And so I think we kind of talked about this last time we talked about it in the pod. There's been kind of this, I don't even want to say rise as much of an exposure of weak men. Because I think weak men have always existed. And I think weak men have always existed as a majority of humanity, in the majority, not the minority. It's just that now through the internet, through like sometimes the celebration of like weak manly behavior is more spottable, if that makes sense.
I got you.
Know what I'm saying? And like, cause like homes have been broken for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, even relationships that like they're married, there were people, you know, who like they beaten a, you know, significant other, like 50s, 60s. That's like that was like, oh, they're not getting divorced, but like that relationship is really unhealthy. Like, and just even what we see is what's macho and what's, you know, manly. A lot of times has nothing to do with actual manhood.
Yeah,
right? It's not about like taking care of your business and also being a servant and also being a leader. It's about like, you know, who can smash the most, you know, girls, who can get the most money, who can do, you know, whatever. And that in different format, like right now it's the most obvious, right? It's the most in your face, but that's always been an undertone of, man, what it looks like to be a man, of like who's got the most success or the most, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I feel like our generation has, in some ways, exposed it to celebrate it, right? But that exposure, I think, is also going to be something that becomes a blessing in disguise, right? Because that celebration of it eventually gets to a point where it's like, man, I'm tired of this, right? Like, I'm tired of, like, doing the same old, like, this is whack. And then they, you know, I feel like our generation's going to start to question, like, what's more, like what's out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I heard a fire quote on a podcast one time. Bro said, like, nowadays manhood is defined by what you have and not who you are.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's simply put, what you just said is just, that's what society defines manhood as. Like, who has the freshest clothes, who got the most women, who's got this, who's got that. But it's like, what's the content of that man's character?
Yeah.
You know, because like biblically, that's what defines a man, is what is the content of your character.
Right.
Because you see men who are rulers within the Bible, like, who didn't rock with God or just were bad men, and like they weren't good men. You know, they're not the examples we follow, but the examples we do follow are Jesus, who was lion and lamb, who was not only about his business, but he was a servant of all, like you said. Yeah. You know, like, I don't know, man. I think we have to learn to get back to the basics of character before we start to get focused on what I can acquire and how does that make me valuable.
Right. No, I think character is the word. I think we focus a lot on like conduct and like possessions when character is the foundational piece to any healthy relationship. That's friendship or romantic. Like, and that's for both sides, you know, male or female. Like, your character has to be the foundational piece to who you are, right? And the thing that you are chasing the most to improve. Not improving how much you have, improving like what you look like on the outside, not even improving just like external behaviors, like, you know, doing different habits. And because those habits, you may have a bunch of good habits, but when something bad happens, you're going to fall back on the only thing that's your foundation, and that's your character. And if your character is, you know, piss poor, it doesn't matter how many times you go into the gym, how healthy you eating, how much you doing this, that, or the third, your character is going to be what shines through in the dark moments, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, we have to be people who are constantly looking at how can I develop my character first and foremost over everything else that I do, because that's what when it comes to manhood, that's what truly a man is. Manhood is characteristics. It's not conduct. It's not a set of, okay, you know, milestones that you hit or highlights that you have. It's about the character that you have. Are you a servant? Are you somebody who loves others unconditionally? Are you selfless, not selfish, not look at me, look at what I'm getting, look at how I'm moving? Are you selfless? Are you giving? Are you generous? I mean, these things are things that are defined manhood, right? And you know, somewhat like for me, like I'm a theater kid. Like I grew up, I did theater, I did dance. That's was my things, right? I was on the basketball team. I didn't play football. Actually, funny story. My mama, she always liked to tell this to embarrass me. But
shout out, mom.
yeah, shout out to my mama. But when I was like probably like 8, 9 or something like that, I was on a baseball team. I was in the outfield, and you know, they suck when you 9, bro. They can't hit the ball for.
Don't tell me.
Definitely.
You was High School Musical 2, Corbin Blue and dancing in there.
I probably was, bro. I probably was out there.
Hey, do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
Nah, you know, it never make it to the outfield, so I'm just standing out there. So, you know, I can get bored, so I can walk over there to my mom. I'm talking with my mom. I'm like, so what we going to eat after? And my mom was like, yeah, this is the end of his baseball career. He not cut out for it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hang up the jersey.
I had to hang it up, bro. So, nah. And then I was, I think, 7th grade when I got cut from the basketball team because they were actually trying to play for real. And I was like, okay, it's not meant for me. So I went over and started doing theater and dance. But anyways, I tell that because, like, I'm not, on a lot of accounts, somebody who represents traditional macho or manly behavior. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I like sports, like watching sports, but I ain't play sports, you know. I don't like dirt under my nails. Like, I don't really like doing yard work. My dad, he tried to teach me how to grill. I'll eventually learn how to grill. Like, I feel like you just got to learn how to grill.
You got to as a dad, bro.
Exactly, bro. I got to be a dad out there with the little apron.
Yes, bro. You got to know how to grill as a dad.
But, you know, I just didn't, like, I didn't want to be out there. I'm like, it's hot, Dad. I'm tired. Let me go inside, chill with my mom. You
That's
know,
real.
watch her make the salad. You know what I'm saying? But all that to say, like, if I let what society defines as conduct, the things that you do, define who I am as a man instead of who you are, define me who I am as a man, I would be extremely insecure.
Yeah.
Because I don't fit the typical mold of what a man is supposed to be like. In fact, a lot of times, because I haven't fit in that mold, just being like completely honest and vulnerable, people have then assumed, oh, you know, you must be, you know, gay, different things like that. And it's like, I didn't fit the box. And so people are like, oh, so you must be this way, right? And it's like manhood and masculinity aren't the same thing, right? It's about who you are. And of course, there are things that, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with having cultural things that we associate with manhood. Like, I think that's healthy in some way to distinguish, but it's like, if that's what we start equating manhood as, then, like, well, we've lost the plot. We're missing the point.
Yeah. No, that's definitely real. And that's definitely something I've had to work through myself, like insecurities about my manhood, because I kind of classify myself as like a more emotional guy. And sometimes, like, I don't like that part of me. I don't like that sometimes things hurt my feelings. I don't like that I cry more than some people. Like, but something that my fiance tries to remind me is, it's like, bro, like, that doesn't make you any less of a man. You know what I mean? It's like, if anything, that makes you more of a man. The fact that you can acknowledge and walk through your emotions and not let them control you.
Right.
And that's something I've had to like reshape my brain into, because like growing up, the guys around me it's all about being hard, having respect.
Right.
And of course, like as a man, I want respect. I don't like being disrespected. I don't think any man does.
Right.
But like, I don't think it's healthy to go around putting up this front of, oh, I'm this hard, tough guy, and I don't have emotions, or my only emotion is anger, you know? And like, I feel you on like battling through insecurities about manhood, because that's definitely something I've had to work through, and something I still have to challenge myself on to this day is like, it's okay to have emotions as a man, as long as like you know how to walk through those emotions and not just like let those be your driver in a sense. Yeah.
And I think, like, you know, of course, for us, the most greatest example of like manhood is like Jesus.
Facts.
Right? And like, it's biblical. There's biblical characters who are associated with being men of God, you know. And a lot of them, you think of David.
Yeah.
Like, David made songs. Like, he wrote songs.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. Like, and a lot of them, he sat in them. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, if I, like, being for real, like growing up in high school, if I was like, man, yeah, I just wrote my journal about how sad I was, people would be looking like, bro, you weird. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate that like emotional expression, which is celebrated in the Bible, is a lot of times in our culture, in our society, looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of adopt I'm sure a lot of people heard that buzzword of like toxic masculinity, right? Where it's like manhood only looks like, being angry, right? And then being stoic, you know, every other moment, right? Or not caring about anything. And it's like, no, that's not manhood, right? And that doesn't make good for healthy relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you getting in a relationship with somebody, once again, friendship or romantic, they have things that they care about. They have things that they are going to want to celebrate with you. And if you can't ever get to a point where you're willing to be emotionally vulnerable enough to celebrate those things with them, or just show care, cry with them, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, then you're never going to be able to get that close to another person, right? Because all they're going to know is that hard shell encasing over your heart. Yeah. And they're never going to be able to get to that heart. And once again, that goes for friendship, romantic relationship, familiar, family relationships, all that. Like, you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And vulnerability does not mean femininity, right?
No.
Like, vulnerability does not mean you're less of a man, right? And you are something else. Like, the best type of men are vulnerable. Yeah. And that's healthy, right? And we have to get away from this perspective of uncaring, emotionally unavailable manhood or masculinity. Yeah. Because it's not healthy. It's not what's going to drive healthy families. It's not going to drive healthy friendships. What it is going to do is continue the cycle of unhealthy relationships that don't grow and that end quickly. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you, bro. And something like I've learned being in a relationship with my fiance, bro, is that like you have to be vulnerable. Like it's like no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like if you want a lasting relationship, whether that be friendship or romantic, you have to be vulnerable. Because I mean, I think about that time, me, you, and Trav had that night where we talked about the podcast. We had some things we had to work through. And if we would have just brushed it off as in, it is what it is, or we'll deal with it when we deal with it or something, like it probably would have made it way worse. Yeah. But because we were able to sit through the uncomfortable conversation and be like, hey, man, this is how I feel. This is how you feel. Okay, what can we do to go forward and make this better? Like that not only made the podcast better, but it gave us a better appreciation of each other, And like now we've gotten to the point to where, let's just say, one of us is not feeling the best or one of us is like tired from that day. If we got to pivot, it's cool because, we've worked through these things to get to the point to where we have the relational equity where we can say, hey, DJ, I'm not feeling the best today. Or, hey, Bryson, like, I think we just need to wait a second. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And you only get to that point through vulnerability.
Right.
And I'll say this, like, I think your relationship only goes as far as your vulnerability goes. Because, like, bro, I don't have a fiance if I don't let her into all my flaws and all my fears and my insecurities. Right. You don't have your girl if you don't let her into your flaws and your insecurities and all of these things, right? And the beautiful thing about it is, and this is what I love about, like, these type of relationships, is when I let you in on those moments as my brother, like, it shows me that you love me regardless. Yeah. And that makes me feel even better about our friendship because it's like, dang, like, I'm a human, I'm flawed, and DJ still looks at me and says, yo, that's my brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a human, you're flawed, but I still look at you like, bro, I'm trying to be like DJ when I grow up. You know what I mean? Like, and then even on a romantic level, it's like she sees your flaws and she's like, man, I don't care, I still love you. We're gonna work through this together. Right. And that just makes relationship even more beautiful. It opens up the access for them to hurt you, but it also opens up the access for them to love you.
Right. Man, yeah, that's good. And I think also just in that, like, inside of vulnerability is also humility. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, we're all flawed. And a lot of times we don't want to get close to people because we don't want them to be close enough to see our flaws. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, because far away, I could be looking at your face and be like, that's a cool face. Like, that's a nice face. I get up close. It's like, oh, you got a little booker, in your nose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see that from far away. And people can't see your flaws from far away. But when they get up closer, my girl, she's had to challenge me on some things. Even today, like, funny enough, like, she had challenged me. It's like, hey, bro, what you said right here wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that hurt my ego and that hurt my pride a little bit.
It does.
Like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it develops you because, one, it makes you better at taking criticism. Like, nobody going to develop you like a romantic partner on just being able to be humble because they're going to be humbling you probably the most out of anyone because they're going to be the closest to you. Mm-hmm. But if I'm not willing to be humble enough to say, like, okay, you're right, I need to work on this and let me work on this, right? Then that's a dead end right there in a relationship, right? And there's only going to be so many dead ends that you're going to hit before you're going to throw your hands up and say, like, this is not worth it, right? And so, like, if you are operating out of a place where it's like, it's everybody else's fault or my relationships aren't healthy, then you need to do some serious reflection, right? Yeah. Because if everybody is always the problem and you never aren't, and if the problem just keeps persisting every relationship you go, that may not be your bad luck, bestie. That might be you. You know what I'm saying? And like, that hurts. I know, like, I get it. That's not a nice feeling. But like, what you'll find is, like, if you practice that, even just in your friendships, it makes it easier then to, when it is someone that, like, okay, God is opening his door for you to be in this relationship with this person, it makes it that much easier when you're practicing humility in your day-to-day life, right? When somebody challenges you on something, instead of being quick to go to what they're doing wrong or being quick to go to your defenses to say, hey, I'm sorry, right? You can sometimes even offer, like, hey, I just want you to know, like, this is maybe what I was thinking, or this is what I was, what I've been going through, to help give context. But you're not making excuses and saying it's not my fault, because excuses says it's not my fault. Yeah. Context says, hey, this is some things that inspired the actions that I still made on my own volition, right? And so when you practice that humility, it then makes vulnerability easier and it makes it possible, right? Because sometimes the hurt that you get from vulnerability is really just them humbling you, which is something that you need to have happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be humble, because you're not, like my mama, she always says, like, your boo-boo stinks too, right? And so, like, you need somebody in your life who's going to be like, okay, simmer down. Like, what you said right here, what you did right here, how you're moving right here, that's not good, right? And that's friendships and romantic relationships. Like, there's been many times my, friends, Bryson, Verge, these people have challenged me, but it's led to me growing, right? And if I wasn't willing to be vulnerable about the things I'm struggling with, the issues I have, that stops me from being a better person, a better believer, a better man.
Yeah.
Because I'm not willing to be humble enough and be vulnerable enough in that humility to allow them access to challenge me.
Yeah, no, you said a lot of good stuff right there, bro. I think accountability is something that we shouldn't run from in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I think accountability shows the quality of the relationship. Because like, you know, as uncomfortable, like you said, as uncomfortable as it is when your girl checks you, like you appreciate that because that shows like the quality of the human that she is.
Yeah.
You know, that shows like, hey, you know what? Although I might be a little irritated, I might got my little feelings stepped on.
Yeah.
But it shows me that I have somebody who's good for me and
Right.
who's challenging me to be the best me. You know, who's not going to accept less of me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned being in a relationship for the past 2 years is like, there's been times where she's come to me and it's been uncomfortable conversations, but on the other side of that, I'm so grateful for it because I'm a better man because of it.
Yeah.
You know, and if she didn't bring it to the forefront, it's like not it's a lingering issue that we just shove it under the rug, and eventually, you know, enough stuff get up under the rug, you're gonna trip over it when you try to walk. And like the beautiful thing about it is when you have two people who have the same goal in mind of like, we just trying to do this thing right. We're trying to honor God and we're trying to do the best that we can each and every day. I think you only push each other to be the best selves that you can be.
Right. Amen. That's good, bro. Like you said, accountability in relationships is something that we should run to and not run from.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you know, I think once again, that's one thing that I think that is good about, like, it's almost like an acceleration in our culture through like toxicity. And so like I'm seeing in that though, like people are more coming to like, okay, this isn't healthy, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm seeing videos about like, you know, like some of the, even like in secular movements, that's like the no fap thing or like the abstinence, you know, thing. Or I actually saw recently Glorilla before her tour, she's doing a fast. She no alcohol, no sex.
For real?
Something else. Right? Yeah, I was like, okay.
Bro, do you know her real name is Gloria Hallelujah?
For real?
Yes,
I did not know that, bro. Hey, shout out Glorilla, I guess. I don't know. Like,
I hope she stays strong.
Hey, bro. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, like, no, like she drinking water and she working out, you know, doing stuff like that. And she invited other people to be on her little, you know, fast thing. And so, like, even in secular spaces, you know what I'm saying? There's some of that. And of course, like, we believe that the missing component, like, you'll never get, like I said, you can do all the good habits you want.
Yeah.
The missing component is your character. And the way that you grow in your character, in my opinion, the best way is through Jesus.
Facts.
But like we're seeing even in our culture is realizing, man, like this, you know, I'ma do me, I'ma live my truth, I'ma live how I want to live. Mindset isn't healthy and it doesn't get you to where you actually want to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just becomes this endless cycle of toxicity, toxic relationships, and you never move in places. And so, like, I just want to challenge people, like, who may be watching the pod and are kind of like, man, like, I feel stuck. It's like, have you tried just developing your character? Have you tried Jesus? It's kind of that thing is like, if you walk out some of those steps that grow your character, that grow your godliness, man, the relationship comes from that. Like, stop looking for the relationship and start looking for how you can grow who you are. How you can grow your character, how you can become a better foundational person so that when the right person walks in your life, you'll be ready for them, right? A lot of people may be in a position where the right person has walked in their life, but they were so focused on the wrong things that they missed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the type of person to be like, okay, like, oh, it's one and done. Like, I believe God works all things to the good of those called according to his purpose, right? And he can still work out a relationship that's meant to be long lasting for you. But it's like, man, you got to take those steps, right, of obedience first.
Yeah.
To move into the right direction of developing your character, developing your godliness, developing your discipline, developing those good habits, develop that emotional availability, that vulnerability, that humility. All those things have to be developed first, because what God may want to bless you with relationally, you may not be ready for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's a hard truth. You know, I think it's funny, but like, I wasn't ready for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
I
real.
thought I was,
agree.
bro. And like I got challenged on some things by some different people who were like, bro, like you need to fix this first, bro. And like it was uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I look back and I'm like, man, how did you not see that? But like, it's like those things had to happen first. Otherwise, I would have fumbled the bag.
Yeah.
Right. You're fumbling the bag if you aren't ready with foundational. Because like where you're going when it's a relationship that's healthy, that's not built off of just sex or, you know, we vibe well together. Relationships that are really built to be long lasting are going to be challenging each other's foundations.
Yeah.
Because as you get closer, as the Bible talks about, when you get married, the two become one flesh, right? That's a mashing of foundations, right?
Yep.
And so if you got a weak foundation, them cracks are going to show. And that person may challenge you like, hey, bro, before, like, we got to fix these cracks, right? And you can go back to the surface level, you know, lust-led or, you know, vibe-led relationship of like, okay, let's not even touch each other's foundations. Let's just stay up here. But if you're trying to build something that's going to be a healthy marriage, bro, that's going to be a healthy, long-lasting like relationship, that's one that you can build a family around, you got to look at those foundations, bro, and inspect those foundations and challenge each other of like, okay, how can we seal the crack right here?
Yeah.
And that may be uncomfortable, but that may be necessary.
No, that's definitely real, bro. And I think the beautiful thing about everything we talked about has not once been a physical thing. It all relates back to character.
Right.
What's cultivating on the inside of you. And I think us two are a perfect example of that. But also, like our friend Verge, like before he got his wife, like this man, like literally prayed to God, like make me into the man that I need to be in order for me to get a wife, right? And like, bro, he locked in with the Lord, like was going on dates with God, was reading relationship books, was like diving deep into the scripture. And lo and behold, like within 2 years, he's married now.
He's married, bro.
You know what I mean? So like, and the thing about it was he stopped focusing on like pursuing women, pursuing all of these other things, and he just pursued Christ.
Yeah.
And then everything else came afterwards. And then I mean, myself, like I wasn't looking for a relationship. Just came, you know, by the grace of God, things worked out the way they did. You know, I had to hop out the, you just, but what's the name? And then like, bro, like for yourself, like this man was so adamant, bro. He was so adamant about like not getting in a relationship, not getting a girlfriend. Bro, like man, we were around with Verge, bro. Verge's fiance at the time called him. My fiance called me. Well, girlfriend at the time, but. And he was like, man, I'm glad I ain't got to deal with that. Now look at him, man. It changed, man.
I be cheesing.
But like all of that happened because we took our focus off of pursuing women and pursuing the relationship and just pursuing Christ. Right. And then like she came.
Exactly.
And I think that happens because we start developing and he, she, whoever, like the person, like whoever is developing, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is when two people that are developing come together, you start developing together ultimately to the point of where God wants y'all to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a bar.
Yeah, like I think there's beauty in the development. And I think we miss that as a culture because we're so instantaneous. We think, oh, I want a relationship, I'm just finna go get one. But the more you hop in and out of relationships, the more scars you get. Right. The more hurt and pain you got to deal with. Yeah. The more time with therapists you got to spend. We all got to go to therapy eventually. But like the more you're going to have to talk about the relationships and all of these things. Yeah. So it's like, bro, I think we could save ourselves a lot of time if we just spent time focusing on Jesus, focusing on building our character and diving deeper in him. And then the relationships will come.
Right. Yeah. I think like you said, like we can save ourselves a lot of baggage that we have to bring into the relationship that's meant to be. Yeah. When we prioritize healthy development. You know what I'm saying? And not fun or not lust or not, you know, whatever vibes, whatever it is for you that you give your reason for why you're with this person that you know I probably shouldn't be with, right? Yeah. It's like you have to do so much more work now. So you're really setting yourself up for failure when you're, you know, doing those things for vibes, for fun, for whatever. Because when you do get into the relationship that's meant to be the one that's last, they unfortunately got to sort through all that baggage with you, right? Or you got to go to therapy. You got to do these different things to navigate through those things of like, okay, like I got these trust issues because of this toxic relationship I was in. But if you would prioritize like developing healthy character and doing those things, surrounding yourself by good community, you may have been able to be in a situation where you could have got out of that earlier, and now your trust issues aren't so tied to some experience, some real experiences that you actually had, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not like to put somebody to shame or to say like, man, it's your used goods. Like it's not that, but it is to say like, for my single brothers and sisters, like, what is your ultimate desire? Is your ultimate desire to have fun? Like dudes, is your ultimate desire to be 50 in the club? Like, is that what you really want? You know what I'm saying?
It's pretty sad.
Like, probably not. You probably want a family. You probably want to be someone who's settled down, who can come home to like kids who love them, a wife that loves them. Yeah. You know, sisters, like, do you also want to be dressing up, putting on, dresses and getting all dolled up when you 40 to go to the club? Like, no, you don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, like, it may be cool when you're 20, but like, just think about it. Like, think about the things that you do and go like, if I was 40 and I was still doing these things, would it be cute? No, it's not. It's not cute. Like, that's not a cute thing to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, if that's what you want, like, no shade, like, for real, like, if that's the life that you want to live, you want to be 50-year-old in the club, I'm not finna tell you like what to do, but I am gonna tell you that's probably not 90% of y'all, that's probably not the case. And so like, why would you waste time doing that when you could be using that time wisely to build something healthier?
That's real.
To build the foundation for what you ultimately want. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? And not taking bad thought patterns that have been, influenced by toxic, past relationships, or, putting yourself in situations, right, that like can be traumatic for you. Like, actual, like the reason, like that therapy thing, not a joke, bro. Like, that can be real trauma that can come from unhealthy human connection, right? And so why would you risk that, right, when you can work on developing, I heard people, a lot of people will tell me like, man, how you gonna find her if you're not like looking? I heard a lot of guys tell me that, like, but you can do the work to find her by becoming the right person, where that's automatically gonna be attracted, right? Like, there's still like pursuing, like, we both had to verge, we all had to pursue the person we wanted, but it wasn't inorganic, right? Yeah. It wasn't like approaching this person out of the blue, right, and trying to make our lives fit together. It organically happened because we spent the time necessarily to develop who we are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that's really the most important aspect, is of like building towards that future long-lasting relationship that I think everybody wants. Everybody wants a good man. Everybody wants a good woman. What are you doing now that will make a good man or a good woman want you too? You know what I'm saying? And I think good. Like, when we adopt that mindset, some of that foolish stuff that we be doing, like, that goes out the window. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really, ultimately, like, I get it. It's fun. It's cool. But like, what is it building towards the future? And if you say, I want this, but your actions don't show it, then it calls into question, do you actually want that?
Yeah, gosh, man. You spitting. It's like you're at the dentist, man. You're out here spitting. Nah, that's real good, bro. And I think one thing I just want to preface is that, like, we don't claim to have all the answers. But I will say, bro, like, even when you do get to the points where you get the girl or you get the guy, don't mistake the point of allowing them to see your development. Yeah. Because, like, you're not going to be perfect and then you're going to get the person. No, you're going to be just more developed, and then you'll get the person, and then you're still going to be developing until you leave this earth. And I think that's something I had to work through myself, is like allowing Tamaya in on my development. You know what I mean? Like, allowing her to see, like we talked about before, like the flaws and all, and like just allowing. She gave me the space and the grace to grow, and I did the same for her. And I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life. She's going to be doing that for the rest of her life. And that's the beautiful thing about relationship. It's about us walking together, developing together. It's not two perfect people coming together. It's two people who are just trying their best, who are seeking the Lord and just trying to do this thing right, you know?
Right. No, I think that's, like you said, that's good. Like, it's no matter what, relationships are hard.
Yeah.
Right.
That's facts.
You can take steps now to make it easier, right? But it's still gonna be hard at the end of the day. And so because relationships are hard, we should be doing everything in our seat. Because, you know, I was single for a good little minute, bro. Like, I was, two of my best friends, bro, they engaged. I'm like, dang. Like,
This man.
ooh, like, this is like, dang, bro. Like, they both engaged. They finna get married. And I'm sitting here single. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's real stuff, right? But, like, I thank God that I did not waste my singleness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On doing things that would not prep me for a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we this fresh, so, you know, Lord willing, this continues. I hope it continues, you know what I'm saying? But I can still confidently say, like, the singleness that I had, I worked hard not to waste. Right?
Yeah.
And I put myself in community with people who were going to challenge me not to waste it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I did everything perfectly, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Right. But I was not spending time wasting, but I was spending time developing. Right. And I'm still developing. And like you said, we give each other grace in that development. But once again, I think it just goes back to, like, if you say you want a good man, a good woman, what are you doing now to make it where that on-ramp is as easy as it can be? Because at the end of the day, it's still going to be challenging. There's still going to be things that you're going to have to do. But, like, healthy relationships do not come easy. It takes work, groundwork while you're single, and it takes continued work while you're in a relationship. And, like, you have to be willing to do that work now and later in order to build something that's going to last, that's going to stand through trial, you know, difficult things, that's going to stand through, like, you go on a business trip for a couple weeks or something happens like that, and, like, you can trust that this person going to be down for you, going to be taking care of business, right? Yeah. That's what people really want, right? Trust, you know, commitment, love, all those things. What are you doing to lead that life now?
No, that's real, bro. And I definitely think a powerful prayer for anybody that's like here just listening to pray is Ecclesiastes 3. You know, there's a time for everything up under the sun. Ask God, what time is it for me? Yeah. And God, help me to make sure I don't squander this. Right. You know, because like you said, you don't want to waste whatever time it is, whether you're in a relationship and you're all pursuing Christ, like, don't waste that. Or whether you're single and you're pursuing Christ, don't waste that. Don't squander whatever time you have.
Right. Amen. Well, I think that's a good ending, honestly. How you feel? You got anything?
Nah, I thought we was finna go for like 50 minutes more.
Nah, we're not going for
okay.
More. Papa hungry. Hunger. I'm sorry. That was, I shouldn't have said. Anyways.
She gonna clown you for that one.
Yeah. Okay. She probably is, bro. You know, everyone probably will. But
especially Verge.
He will. Shout out Verge. We love you. Shout out him. He's doing great things. Just started a new job.
Indeed.
He's gonna be blessing people down in Central Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mentoring, development right there. But anyways, man, that's I think we're gonna wrap it up here for this episode, man. So of course, man, appreciate all of y'all.
Cataclysmic.
Hopefully, you had cataclysmic wisdom dropped on you today. There we go.
Yeah.
But anyways, man,
vocab
we love
word
y'all.
by the day.
Appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Hey, real quickly, I was just thinking about this earlier. I just wanted to say this.
Okay.
Like, we're on the pod. It's not like deep. It's actually really superficial. But we were talking about passing the rock, which reminded me of basketball.
Indeed.
Which reminded me, bro, the NBA is going crazy right now, bro.
It is, bro.
Insane trades going on, bro. I think the NBA saw that their rating was going down, so they called up a couple of the owners and were like, hey, how do we spice this up? And so they traded Luka to the Lakers, bro.
That was wild, bro.
I know all my Mavs Dallas folks are hurting back at home. Not me though, because I'm not a Mavs fan.
Hey, y'all won, bro.
We did, bro. Got De'Aaron Fox. Won our first game for way too cheap, bro. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy how cheap. And now he over there with Wemby. We didn't even lose like our young core, bro. Like our young core is still like intact. And so like we doing good, and I'm excited to see how that goes. I actually think we may be able to make it to playoffs now, because we weren't, because we like the 10th seed right now, but we just beat ATL last night. We almost fumbled the bag though. I ain't gonna lie, but we did win. But shout out to the Spurs. Shout out to my team.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, bro. But shout out to all my DFW folks. I know y'all hurting right now. I'm gonna be praying for y'all because that was rough, bro. Y'all definitely did not get y'all's money worth.
They actually refunded season tickets to
Really?
people who wanted to cancel.
Yeah, I'm sure, bro. Because like for Anthony Davis, like Anthony, maybe like prime Anthony Davis, like Pelicans, like Anthony Davis, or maybe even like Mickey Cup. Like 2020 Anthony Davis, but like Anthony Davis is getting like older, bro. Like he's not even. Yeah, because I don't really count that ring.
The bubble, bro?
Yeah, I don't count that, bro. That's a fake ring. LeBron has 3 rings in my book, bro. He doesn't have 4.
Gosh.
I'm also a LeBron hater, you know.
Man,
sounds he did beat the Spurs in 2013.
Sounds like we might need to talk about sports someday, man. I got to hear you talk about it.
Yes, sir. But all right, man. Well, hey, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a happy Valentine's Day, man. Whether you're single or you got somebody, always remember that you are loved, you are valued, and man, nothing and nobody, no relational status can take that away from you. And so even if you're single, bro, do something for yourself. Or
draw something for God.
Draw something for God, bro. You know, go hang out with, you know, your gals. Go hang out with your homies. I don't know if you would. But hey, anyways.
And make sure to use your credit card or debit card number whenever you're checking out at the Great American Cookie Store.
Yes, sir.
100% purchase rate, never failed unless
never failed.
You have insufficient funds.
Yeah. But we pray against that. Indeed, bro.
Especially during this holiday season.
During this holiday season. But hey, man, y'all be blessed. Know that y'all love. Jesus loves you. And hey, Bryson, what do we tell the people?
Look, man, y'all be blessed. Don't stress, do less, and let God take care of the rest. We out. Love y'all.